Legend Total War here, and today we've got a saving disaster battle playing as Grombrindle, going up against Tilia. Now this army looks like it's completely freshly recruited. Grombrindle is only tier 5, and these heroes here are super low level, got barely any experience on any of the units here. And we're going up against maxed out experienced units that are also fairly high tier. So even though the battle result here says Valiant Defeat, this is pretty common for dwarves, because what ends up happening with them, because all of their units have such high stats in just about everything, they actually ranked really highly in auto-resolve. In many ways, the dwarven units are actually overrated in auto-resolve. So if the game thinks that you're close to defeat, that probably means you're actually outpowered by quite a bit. Anyway, let's jump in here and see what we can do. We've got about 2 full stacks to deal with, and I reckon it's all going to come down to the formation that we set up the Orkan guns. Because when using the dwarves, we're probably the lowest micro faction in the game. Like, in fact, micro for the dwarves can actually be detrimental. You need to set up the formation where it's just going to dish out the most amount of damage, while you can just basically sit back and just watch it happen. It really is the armchair general faction, right? Because the thing is with Total War Warhammer, right, you could give an attack order with a missile unit, and especially with artillery, as the unit comes in further or moves around, even if you've got guard mode on, the unit will shift around a little bit, and then if you've got wave after wave of enemy coming in, eventually your forces will just get kind of messed up. So what we need to do here is set up a formation where it can just run in autopilot, and we can essentially just ignore it. And just give tiny little tweaks here and there. So what I'm going to do, bring everyone over here. We'll have time before they get over here. I'm going to show you a formation to use with organ guns that you may not normally use. So what we want to do, get the organ guns into the corner, obviously. We don't want to get surrounded, that would be stupid. And then what we want to do here is actually not have anyone standing in front of the organ guns at all, apart from heroes. Because all they're going to do is obstruct them. Organ guns are amazing for DPS, but they can get obstructed quite easily. So what we're doing here is setting up a formation where nobody's really standing in front of them, because the heroes don't get in their way. And also, we want to try to have the first wave of enemies come at us and just get completely wasted by attacking the heroes. The heroes will lose a lot of health. I can't expect them to hold out forever, especially at like rank 1, up against units that have tier 9 of experience. This is not going to work. But if we can absorb the initial charge, it'll lower their momentum and allow the rest of our forces to handle the rest of it quite easily. Now, as for the Iron Drake's Trollhammer torpedoes, they're not really ideal for this battle here. They're definitely a good unit, but I just don't have a whole lot of use for them here, specifically. So what I'm doing here is just making sure that every unit that's got some sort of missile attack is just not obstructed at all. Now another thing is that if you keep your heroes too close to your missile line, the AI will just run right past your heroes and attack your missiles. So you have to keep them a good distance back if you want to use them as tanks, which in this situation here, since we're so badly outnumbered, we definitely want to do that. So they're coming in here. Now, Grombrindle's anti-large and unbreakable, so he should be able to handle that fairly easily. If we just get out of his way a little bit, out of the way of the organ guns. Should also put them all on guard mode. Yeah, that way we can shoot at them while also staying in melee. Okay, I'm actually going to give an order. We specifically want to kill the general, because we want to drop down his leadership for the entire army, obviously. See, they're obstructed by the hero there, just a little bit. But it's very easy to get out of the way. Good. Okay, we've already used up a lot of... See, this is what I was talking about. I was in guard mode. See how that... what these fuckers doing there? You really want to avoid that kind of shit. This is why it's better to give them just no order sometimes. Except in that situation, I really did need to kill off that hero. Okay, cool. That's a good start, taking out those 3 heroes. There's some more coming in, though. That's it. So I'm gonna put some guys out here just to protect the iron. What's it called? Iron Drakes a little bit more. Cool. The organ guns are doing their job, and we can give them extra ammunition through our engineer. That's good. And just have sort of like a controlled retreat. Actually, yeah, get over there. Is it time? Move now! Pop those dwarven legs! Let's turn the tide! Round of smashing upon them! Alright, this first wave is pretty badly thinned out. The first army is just about dead. And it's good they're coming at us. It'll be a few moments before they get here. So that's good. But Grombrindle's taking a fair bit of damage now. Okay, I need to kill this other lord. Grombrindle's got to try to get out of there. Come on, if you could just hold out long enough for him to die. I'll pop this down for just a bit of extra melee defense. It's going well there. Okay, get him out, get him out, get him out. Good. And don't fuck around. Oh, don't do that! Alright, Grombrindle's had enough. Let's move him back. He doesn't have an Iron Warden tankard. But that's not too bad. They just reformed up a little bit. Okay, we're a bit outranged by their crossbowmen, but at the same time, they're not doing that much to us. So let's just deal with the great swords here first. Notice how I angled in the Thunderers so that they would shoot into the kill zone. At least with these ones here are quite blobbed up. They're not going to be shooting effectively. Another benefits from corner camping like this, they do tend to use their missile units really badly. Okay, next wave is incoming. So yeah, even with good shields and good armor, basic units can still rip apart melee infantry. This is why I say that armor is one of the most overrated stats in the game. It definitely does help, but I think it's overrated. And keep shooting. Yeah, we want to keep getting their ammo back, because that'll also give us loads of bounce of power. Can get smashed if we're not careful here. Because we don't just want to win this battle, we want to make sure his armies are going to be okay afterwards as well. Oh, is this guy going to survive? He's only like rank 1, so it's not a big deal. But is he going to get out of there? Hopefully. It does look like he'll get out. Another fucking lord coming in. So gotta be careful that this one here doesn't shoot our own troops. Just don't need to charge into them. Really passive unit. Just soak up the charge. Using the Helm of Discord would be good, we gotta get in close for that. Create a little bit of a gap in here for the Iron Drakes. That's it, get them to shoot in that way. And our guy's gonna be safe. It looks like he's gonna leave the battlefield. That's okay. Okay, we really need to now start getting rid of these missile units back here, because they're doing more damage to us than the melee infantry. And I need to keep restoring ammunition. There we go. Oh good, he rallied. Good, just stay in over here. Okay, what we could do, grab these two here and shoot into that. That could do a ton of damage. No, geez, Helm of Discord here. They've routed. We're holding out okay here. These guys are fine. That's it. Just get them off the battlefield. This one here's out of ammo. But, you know, extra ammo's coming in just a moment. These guys here are getting shredded. Don't move our forces up and try to catch up to these crossbowmen. It will not work. All we can hope to do here, just stay put. And there we go. There's the army losses. We just beat them. So yeah, good army. You just got to use it as best you possibly can in these sort of situations when you're getting outnumbered. You want to try to make it that their numbers count for as little as possible. If you set up in the middle over here, it's like the worst thing you can possibly do. Because they'll use their numbers quite well. Go and just surround you. And you just won't be able to have the Ironbreakers possibly defend all those positions. Whereas we had like a massive kill zone over here. Where the organ guns managed to get loads of kills. And in just this one battle, this one here gained 4 experience. So they're going to be more accurate and fire faster in future battles. But one of the downsides to this type of battle is that the front line always takes all the goddamn damage, and these units here take none. So it's going to take a while for them to replenish. But it's a it's a low experience army. So any experience for Grombrindle and these heroes is going to benefit them greatly at this point. There's no point trying to run after them. We'll never catch them, and we can't heal at all. But the main thing with that battle there was to make sure that at no point in the battle that the organ guns were ever obstructed. They had to keep shooting because they were our heavy lifters. All of our army was there to support 4 units because they did pretty much the same number of kills as everybody else combined. And I knew that was going to be the case because, you know, they've just got such massive damage output, not to mention all the single entities they took out. And grab yourself... What do you need? Yeah, grab that, I guess. He's staying in enemy territory. Fairly sure it's the AI's turn. Now just make sure the rest of this turn goes okay. It was a good army though, but yeah, you really want to try to be the attacker in those sort of situations. You know, when you're really badly outpowered like that, you can sit there and be like, oh, corner camping all the time. The problem is if you don't corner camp, you're gonna lose. There's no other techniques that the dwarfs really have. The wider you go against these sort of armies, the worse it's going to be, because they essentially going to fight to the death. You just need to inflict the army losses. You know, they have anti-infantry, armor-piercing greatswords. We absolutely shred them with the organ guns on the approach. But yeah, the wider you go, the wider they go, the less damage you're going to take. Whereas they blobbed up so much in that battle because they just couldn't do anything else and got shredded by organ guns. So what we did was maximize the effectiveness of the organ guns, which requires you to corner camp, and the AI just falls for it every time. Now, you should... Okay, you don't have Lightning Strike yet. But you should be strong enough to take out each one of these.
I'll ignore that.
Just got to be careful about these, because you're not going to replenish at all. If you can get an Iron Warden tankard on them. Let me have a look at the traits in these ones. That's good. It's good trait. Generally speaking, the dwarves have good traits. Yeah, good traits, yeah. But yeah, some regen on your heroes can really help in those sort of situations to get them a bit more... holding power, because Grombrindle did a great job. He handled the full-on charge from the enemy heroes, and he's, you know, only low rank with no equipment, but without healing, he just wasn't able to go back into the battle later down the track. The Ironbreakers, great job. The Iron Drakes got loads of kills. They were able to be properly supported by these guys and shooting through the gaps. That all worked out well. The Thunderers were getting loads of kills. Every single unit in this army did a great job. but you don't really have units in the dwarf army that's able to like fly around and cast spells or anything like that, which just about every other race in the game can do. And that's where the big difference comes in between the dwarves and other races when dealing with situations where you're badly outpowered. Anyway, that one handled out pretty well. Only a bit of damage done to these units, but the actual damage dealers are all fine, so you should be able to handle this. Anyway, that's the end of this one here, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. Don't often coven dwarfs that much because pretty much every single battle is the bloody same with them. But, you know, every now and again there's something interesting in the inbox. Anyway, that's the end of this one. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time, fuckers. Bye.